Alright, let's finish this up. Part 3, fixing the rest of our benchmark. Left off, question 28. Rachel's setting up a table for a party. 4 of the tables covered in red tablecloths. 8 of them have white tablecloths. Guests will be randomly seated at the tables when they arrive. Each table will seat 8 guests. What's probably the first guest will sit at a table with a red tablecloth? All these words really just saying what is the probability of getting a red. Okay. So we look how many red tables are there. There are 4 of them. And then the part that messes people up is a lot of people picked 1/2, not the right answer, because they saw the other number and it shows up twice. There's like 2 different ways you could have come up with this wrong part. That there are 8 white tablecloths. So if we have 4 red and 8 white, really we want to know how many is that total. So 4 plus 8 is 12. The chance of getting a red is 4 out of 12, not 4 over 8, right? Because it's what's favorable, what we want, over everything possible. So you have to account for everything that could happen. Which in this case, there are 12 totals. 12 tables total they could sit at. 12's got to be on the bottom. And then we simplify that and we get 1/3. Is the answer. Okay. And then some people will say, what about this part where it says that there are 8 guests at each table? So if we said that, why not? Who cares? So if you're 4 red tables, they sit 8 people each. So 4 times 8, 32. And then the same thing for our white tables. So times 8, so 8 times 8 is 4. And we would still need to add those up, and that just gives us 96. And then our fraction would just be 32 red seats over, whoops, then I messed it up. Not 64, but the total, which is 96. And guess what? That still equals 1/3. We didn't have to do this work because all the tables were the same size, so it just simplifies to the same answer. So if you did it that way, you just worked harder than you had to. Okay. 29, net of a rectangular prism as dimensions are shown. What is the total surface area? Total surface area, that just means add all areas. Rectangular prism, so there's going to be 6 rectangles, but only 3 of them are going to be unique. We can just do those one by one. Let's start with this one on the left. That's 3 by 7.5. Area of a rectangle is just base times height, or 7.5 times 3. We just multiply those together, and that is 22.5 inches squared. So we can call this 22.5. And then if this one is 3 by 7.5, then so is this one here. Because even if it's not labeled, we see it's still 3 inches tall and 7.5 inches across, so 22.5. Brady picked a quarterback in the draft. Tom Brady doesn't make the draft picks. Calm down, Eric. Let's look at this next one. Yeah. So this is 11.5 by 3. Still areas base times height. Only this time it's going to be 11.5 times 3. That is 34.5 squared. And then if this is 34.5, then so is this one over here. Okay, that just leaves one more, this bigger rectangle. And this one is going to be 7.5 by 11.5. Same as this one down here. Still base times height. I'm willing to bet that the Packers will not be the Super Bowl champion. Super Bowl 50. You can quote me on that. Save this video in case I'm wrong. I don't know what that is off the top of my head, so I can multiply this out. 11.5 times 7.5. 2, 7, 5, bring down to 0. 35, 33, and 8. 8, oops, 86.25. Let me double check. I'm distracted by Eric talking about football to me. 11.5 times. That is correct. Okay. Good, good. This is 86.25, and so is this one. So in the last part, since we want total area, we just have to add all these together. 86.25, 86.25 plus forgot what were the colors. 22.50. Remember, when you're adding decimals, you do need to line them up. Even though these other ones didn't have 2 decimal places, I'm going to write them in just so everything looks nice and organized. And then we just add these up. So 5 and 5 is 10, carry the 1. 10, 20, 22, 24, 25. 12, 14, 16, 18, 22, 26. 16, 18, 20, 22, 23. 256.50, and if everything went correctly, that should be an answer choice. What did I do wrong? Okay, hold on. And 20, 25, 12, 14, 16, 18, 26, okay, 18, 20, 22, 25, oh, 28, 286.50. Hey, everybody makes mistakes. That's an answer now, 286.5. So always, if you're working these out, like if I got 256.50, if I said, oh, well, 258 is pretty close to that, I would have got this one wrong. So if you're working this out, and you didn't round anything, you shouldn't have rounded anything here, and you don't get an exact answer, you go back and double check, because you should get an exact answer every time. And if you see an answer, and it says, not here, I want you to just, I don't even look at the question, I'm going to say cross it out. The answer, write it here. You can write it down. Answer is always there. Okay? I'm more confident about that than I am about Green Bay not winning the Super Bowl. Let's see. Doctor has annual income of that much money. Income tax has to pay 6%. That's a good deal. What is the amount of income tax the doctor has to pay? So all we gotta do here, we're gonna say tax over total. Anytime we're doing percents, we can make percent proportion out of it. We don't know how much tax he had to pay, but we do know his total pay is 152, 125. And that's going to equal to, we're going to put all our percents on the other side. So dollars on one side, percents on the other. This is 6 per 100. And then we just cross multiply. So we've got all this here. So this is going to be the hard part. 152,125 times 6 Actually, this isn't too bad because it's the same numbers over and over. That's 30, 15, 7, 12, 1, 9. Double check. My math hasn't been too good today. Okay, good. And then if we divide that by 100, we said if you're dividing by 100, we just take the decimal and move it back places. So how much does he have to pay in income tax? He would pay $9,127.50. Okay, and you would bubble it in just like that. And these are the easiest ones to bubble in because you need the 2 decimal places, so you just have to like not screw up. Right? Anytime you see percents, make a proportion. The lesson there. We did that one. Okay, 31. Study of population of 1,200 frogs revealed that 12 out of every 180 in the population have spots. Based on the results of the study, how many frogs in the population not have spots? Okay. So what we can do, if 12 out of 180 have spots, how many do not? So that's the rest of them. We'd say, what's 180 minus ones with spots? So we say all the frogs. Take away the ones with spots. And that'll give us the ones without. And this is 168. Okay, and if you notice, that's an answer choice. Hopefully you did not pick them, because that's just out of the original 180. We want to know what is that out of 1,200. So don't pick this one. So know that it's a good start, right? We did some math, we got that. We're just going to use this number to do other more different math. We're going to expand this out. So we're going to say without all frogs. That's what we're comparing. And we said our original ratio is 168 out of 180. And then we want to expand that to what if there were 1,200? And x over something. And I'm not actually going to work this out, because these numbers don't look so fun. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my remaining answer choices. I'm going to use good old common sense. Okay? Do this. So if we look, 168. This is a lot more than half. Hopefully you can agree with that. Half of 180 is 90, and 168 is a lot more than that, which means that x has to be a lot more than half. Okay? And since half of 1,200 is 600, it has to be more than 600. I know that. Know that for a fact. That gets rid of answer choice A. And then if I look at the remaining two, it cannot be C. And if you think about it, why can't it be C? Think about it. Because there's only 1,200 frogs. Only 1,200 total. So if there's only 1,200 frogs, is it possible that 1,280 of them do not have spots? And the answer is no. It has to be less than 1,200. So it's got to be somewhere between 600 and 1,200, and the only one that does that is answer choice D. And if you don't believe that, you can cross multiply, and you can do 168 times 1,200 and divide that by 180. Okay? I haven't slept all weekend because of the draft. Wow. Take a break. Football's not that important. Okay. Rotating lawn sprinkler, sprays water, circular area. The diameter, 16 feet. We can draw a diameter that goes all the way through. Excuse me. Then we just want to know what's closest to the area of that. So area of a circle, go to our formula chart, is pi r squared. Okay, I know pi, if I look at my formula chart in case I forget, is 3.14 times the radius. And what is our radius here? Well, the diameter is 16. The radius has to be half of that. Okay, so half of 16 is 8. 16 divided by 2 is 8, or you can say 8 plus 8 is 16. Either way, we get a radius 8. So 8 squared means 8 times itself, which is 4. And then we just multiply that by 3.14. Get our final answer. What is 3.14 times 64? 16, 5, 12, 24, 6, 9, 10, and 200. So we have 2 decimal places here. 200.96, and that's an answer choice. Nice and easy. You had a question about area, find the formula. Remember, chances are it's going to give you the diameter because they're counting on some people to forget to change it back to the radius. Find the radius first, put it into the formula, multiply carefully, get the right answer. Alright, 33. This one's a little bit tricky because look at all these words. Which situation, I can read, can be represented by this inequality? 1.25x minus 650 is greater than 50. So what I would do this, I would read my answer choices first. I'm going to assume you read all these already. And then I'm just going to look at one thing at a time and see if I can eliminate any answer. I'm going to start with the end here. This says greater than 50 or more than 50. I'm going to go through my answer choices and I'm going to see if any of them don't say more than 50. And that way I can eliminate them. I don't have to think about it anymore. So answer A, earn a profit of more than 50. Whoops. Okay, so this one's still good. B, more than 50 in a savings account. Okay, that's good. Let's see. In order to have an ending balance greater than 50, that's still good. And to earn more than 50. Okay, so that didn't help too much, right? Oh well. So we go to the next part. So I don't even want to look at these other numbers here. I'm going to look at this minus, which means we're going to have two different things happening. It's always about money. This means money's coming in, he's gaining money, but he's also losing money. So I'm looking for situations where some money's gained and then some money is lost. Or ones that don't say plus, right? A take away. We're looking for taken away. So answer choice A, he spends 650, right? And then he sells them for 125. So he's spending money and then making money. So this is still good. B starts with 650, so this is still positive, and then deposits 125 each. This is adding them together, so that's not what I want. I don't want adding together. I want the difference between. This one earns 1.25%, so earning money, and then pay a monthly charge. This is plus, and then this is minus, so this is good. And then D charges $1.25 for gasoline, plus, there's the keyword plus, that's what I'm not looking for, so I can get rid of this one. That leaves A and C. Which of these is correct? And what gives it away more than anything else This one says earns 1.25% interest. So if we want to figure out 1.25% of something, we can't just multiply it by x. We would have to change it to a decimal first. So 1.25% is actually 0.0125. So this equation would have to be 0.0125x minus 650. And that's not what we have here. This is actually incorrect. It's close, but not quite. And chances are, if you get a question and one of them's in money and one of them's as a percent, if this percent is the same as the number up here, this is not going to be correct. Okay? That's not how percents work. You have to change them to decimals before you can do actual math. Let's see. This one here, he spent $650 on supplies, so that's our minus $650. And then he sells each cup. So we're multiplying the number of cups times 125. And x is, there you go, the number of cups. So this is 1.25x minus 650. Okay? So this is our correct answer. This is just, it's a lot of reading. And, I mean, I showed you the way that I do it. If you like to read each question and try to figure out what the equation would be, that works as well. It's all personal preference. But these are kind of hard. I'm not going to lie to you. Especially if you're not so great at reading, it can be very difficult questions. But we do the best we can. Nothing else on that. Ooh, we're going kind of slow here. We gotta pick this up. Alright, dot shows the heights of players on two basketball teams. Which statement is best supported by the data? The distributions for data B are approximately symmetrical. Symmetrical means same, left, and right. So if I look at these two plots, A is kind of symmetrical, a little bit more weighted on the right side though. And then B is definitely not symmetrical. If you look at this, it's kind of all over the place. So this is not good. The median height, so median is the middle value. And to save us time of not actually calculating, if we just kind of look at it, the middle of team A seems to be about 78. And then the middle of team B is about 79 to 80. So we look at it somewhere in this range here. So is 79 and 80 less than 78? And no, it's not. Team B has a greater range. Range is the high minus the low. But if we look here, this would be 83 minus 72. It's 11. And this one is 84 minus 72, which is 12. Let's see, so that range is 12 more than 11. That looks pretty good. Let's check J just to be sure. The mode height, and this is the number that shows up most often. What is the most common height on team A? Is this one here. There's 5 people that are 78 inches tall. But over here on team B, the one that shows up most, there's 6 people that have a height of 80. So is 80 less than 78? No, it is not. There's your answer. You just kind of got to remember this from 6th grade. Median is the middle. Range is the high minus the low. Mode is the number that shows up most often. And mean, hopefully it doesn't ask you because that's a real pain to figure out, is the average. Okay. 35. Distance between two cities on a map is 3.5 centimeters. Map uses scale in which 1 centimeter is 20 kilometers. What's the actual distance between these cities? Okay, anytime you see scale, anytime you see two separate units going on, here it is. This is a proportion question. We're comparing centimeters to kilometers. And it tells us on the map 1 centimeter, 20 kilometers equals 3.5 centimeters over actual distance in kilometers, 3.5 over x. And we just multiply. So what is 3.5 times 20, and that's just 70. And 70 divided by 1 is 70. So if you bubbled it in, you could even call it 70.00, long as you put 70 just to the left of the decimal point. Alright, 36. Rebecca needs 10.5 yards fabric to make a quilt. She has one piece of fabric that's 2.5 yards, another piece of fabric that's 4 1/4. How many more yards does she need? Okay, so this is fractions. I don't want to deal with fractions, so let's make them decimals. So 10.5 is 10.5. 2.5 is 2.5. That was me sneezing. And 4 1/4 is 4.5. Alright, so let's figure out what does she have. She has these two, 2.5 and 4.25. Let's put them together. So 2.5 plus 4.25 is 6.75. This is what she has, and 10.5 is what she needs with an N. We need to know what is the difference between 10.5 and 6.75. So we subtract. 10.5 minus 6.75. Line up our decimals. We're adding or subtracting. We borrow, because that's how you subtract. Borrow again. So this is going to become 9. 14, that's 7. 9 minus 6 is 3. So 3.75, so it's not that. 3 1/4 is $3.25. Okay, that's how you can remember quarters, as quarters are 25 cents each. And 3 3/4 is 3.75, which is our answer. Okay, if it gives you fractions and you don't like fractions, make them decimals. Fortnite or studying? I would say uninstall Fortnite and then study. Piece of cake. DC has 2 bouquets of flower. Each bouquet contains 13 daisies. The bouquet S has 30. Bouquet T has 13. There's the key here. 13. Right? And 13 of them are daisies, which means this is all daisy. This is some daisy. Okay. Which statement is true? And then all these are about probability, so let's actually figure out the probability. So bouquet S, there's 13 out of 30. And I can't simplify that. 13 is prime, so it's just 13 over 30. And then bouquet T is 13 over 13, because we said it's all daisies. That simplifies to 1 over 1, or just 1, or 100%. Okay. And then let's look at our answers. Randomly selecting from S is less than the chance of selecting a daisy from T. That seems true, right? Because anything is going to be less than 100%, so I'm going to keep this one. Probability of randomly selecting a daisy from bouquet S is 1. That's not true, right? It was bouquet T that was 100%. C, selecting from S is equal to the probability. These are definitely not equal. They have an equal number of daisies, but not an equal chance, because bouquet S has a lot more flowers in it. And the probability of random selecting from bouquet S is 1/3. We said we couldn't simplify 13 over 30, which means it cannot be 1/3. That just leaves answer A. Okay. Remember, anytime you see probability, you just write the fractions with the probability, and then you just got to make sense of what the answer is. All right. 38. Pilot takes a taxi from the airport to a hotel. Driver charges $250 initial charge, $265 per mile. Which equation we use to find total cost of the trip? Okay, so if it's $265 per mile, so it's 2.65 times the number of miles. Okay. He also charges an initial fee, but that only gets charged one time. It's not per mile, so it's just off on its own, just plus 250. And throw a little y equals in front of it. This is our answer. And we find the answer choice that looks like that. This one sort of does, right? But it's got parentheses. Don't pick the one with parentheses. Minus, that's no good. This one, they switched the 250 and the 265 around. That's not good. And the only one that matches what we wrote down is this one here. Hooray, we did it. Okay. 39. Use similar triangles to make a design. Which statement about triangles must be true? Okay, so we need to remember, what does similar mean? Similar means same shape, not necessarily same size. Because if they're the same size, they're congruent, which is also a case of being similar. But more often than not, if they mean similar, they mean same shape but different size. But it can be the same. Okay, it also means that angles, ooh, I should put corresponding, so don't confuse anyone. Corresponding angles are congruent, or the same. That's what gives them the same shape, is they have the same angle measures. And corresponding sides are not congruent but are proportional. Also what gives it the same shape. Like if I take a square, right? Okay, if I make another square, right, could be the same. Or I could make it bigger, right? This, oh, some of that's a rectangle. Sorry. Square got away from me. But you get the idea. Actually made a text box somehow. So the sides are still proportional. They're growing at the same rate. Angles stay the same. They're just not the same size. So let's look at our answer choices. Same size and shape. Remember we said this isn't always true. Our question says which must be true. Same size but different shapes. That's, they got the order mixed around. Okay. Corresponding angles are congruent. Hey, I wrote that down like word for word. And corresponding sides are congruent. No, corresponding sides are proportional. Okay. So you should remember, if nothing else, if they're similar, corresponding angles are congruent. And congruent just means, ooh, that's a bad arrow. Congruent means the same. Okay? Alright, one more. Parker conducted a random survey at the mall to determine the number of songs in each genre which are downloaded by 40 students. There's the results. Based on the information in the graph, which inference about the general population is valid? So we have to assume that we trust what Parker did. Because why not? It's the end of the test. We'll believe whatever you want us to believe. We just want to be done with this. We saw 10 girls like country, 3 boys like country, 4 girls like rap, 11 boys like rap, and 6 for rock music. Alright, so girls like country music more than all other genres combined. So country girls was 10, and then all others combined is 4 plus 6, which is also 10. 10 is not more than 10. That can't be the right answer. More girls than boys like rock music, but no, it's 6 and 6. Again, it's a tie, so it's not more. So for the same reason, that's not correct. Boys like country music more than rock music. Well, that was 3 to 6. That's not even close. And boys like rock music more than girls like rap music. Hopefully this is true, because otherwise we're out of answers. So boys, there was 6 boys, and girls, there were 4 girls that like rap, and 6 is definitely more than 4. This is correct, and we are done. Yay, happy face. Alright. Hopefully you wrote all this down, and then bring it back with the word done and a happy face on it. Okay, good night.